Hello, everybody. I am Dragon Toothless. Welcome to the stream. My apologies. This is not going to be a very long stream, and it is pretty sudden. This isn't actually going to be a streaming of a game or anything like that. This is just, as the title says, a view back on my weight loss journey. Some of you may have known that last December I went through surgery to help with weight loss. This is actually a few years ago, but you can see um, being in the upper 400-pound range how even size 60 trousers were pretty tight and snug on me. I don't have this specific pair anymore. They are long gone, but I've been wearing size 60 unfortunately for a few years. And the doctors had suggested that because of the fact that all the methods of weight loss I had used were coming back as I would start to lose weight, and that would go for maybe 1 or 2 months and be doing pretty well, say lose 10 to 20 pounds, and then my metabolism levels would begin to adjust themselves to where no matter what changes I would make to my diet or exercise routine, this included just being a teenager when I first started on Weight Watchers. I think I was like 12. But one of the repetitive emotions was that as soon as my metabolism balanced itself out, it didn't matter what changes and tweaks I made to my routines. My body just refused to do any more weight loss and would keep me at the weight and start to increase the weight even though I wasn't doing anything to increase my caloric intake. So it was very difficult, and over the years it had gotten to the point where by the last year, probably in the run up, I had actually been recommended by one of my physicians to undergo what is known as a gastric bypass surgery to help with the weight loss. The surgeon that I was referred to said that probably the best way to look at it would be to do the sleeve surgery. So if we look here, you can see this is what a normal stomach looks like prior to the surgery. And then after the sleeve surgery, your stomach basically takes on the shape of a banana because they pretty much cut away about 80% of your stomach, which also adjusts the hormone levels to help with weight loss. But it does mean that as a result, I have to have between 3 and 5 very small meals a day. And so instead of having a plate this size as I normally would have, I'm getting plates this size, and that is with also very little on it, and that will fill me up during the day. And I have to keep sipping water at frequent intervals as well to avoid dehydration. But one of the things I wanted to point out as well while the stream's going on is let's look at the weight loss itself, how it worked. So I went ahead and went into my medical records with the hospital group that I used to be with and pulled some random weight levels from the past, uh, probably from September of last year, and then I added some extra weights at the bottom from both last month and this afternoon as well, because I went ahead and weighed myself a little while ago while I was on the phone actually with my sister. So as you can see from September 1st of 2020, so just over 14 months ago, I had an appointment with a surgeon for because you had to do at least 6 visits with the dietitian in the surgical suite to prepare yourself mentally, and they also had me go through to say, okay, what are you doing to change your diet in the run up, especially because of the fact that after the surgery, you've got to be used to the fact that you're going to have small meals. And if you try and push it, your stomach is going to basically push it right back up because it's not going to be able to hold a what is considered a full standard serving for a normal person anymore due to the reduced stomach size. And they would also ask, what are you doing with exercise and such? And I noticed I was starting to have some more energy again as I went out, because I would do, for instance, the mailbox where I was living is in a community mailbox area, which was probably about 3/10 of a mile from the house. So rather than always driving over to the mailbox, if it was a good day weather-wise and not too cold, then I would go out and just walk it, because the other benefit there was you were going up and downhill a lot to do that, and that helps as well. At times it would be a struggle because my body would have my heart pounding like crazy, and I'd be struggling to breathe at times because of how out of shape I was. But I kept at it, and then of course, so this is from the September 1st, 2020 appointment with a surgeon. You can see it's 219.5 kilograms or 484 pounds. I believe the highest I ever knew that I was probably around, although that had been a few years earlier, was probably around 505. And then, so that was one of them. Then we move on to the next one. We'll just go ahead and take that off for a sec. Oh, well, you can see anyway, hopefully. Let me change that, because I accidentally did the wrong thing. I want the highlighter taken off. Okay, there we go. So then on the 23rd of November of last year, so just under a year ago, it had gone, or it had pretty much been stable that whole time, even with starting to reduce how much I was eating, because again, once the surgery was done, I wouldn't be able to have a standard sized portion anymore. So still around 486 pounds, so roughly 2 pounds more, though some of that may also have been just what I was wearing, because it would have been heavier clothes at that point for the winter time. So then we go to, I believe the next one was the pre-op. So, yeah, oh no. So this was where I transitioned to the liver shrinking diet on the 1st of December. So the liver shrinking diet is a low fat diet that's designed because of the liver needing to shrink so that they have easier access to it. You have to do it for 2 weeks prior to the surgery. Oh. Hey Oracle, welcome on in. This, like I said, this isn't a gaming one. This is just me talking about the weight loss journey that I've taken already in the past year. So, just giving people some advice on such, in case they ever find themselves being faced with bariatric surgery and such. But yeah, welcome on in. I'm certainly glad to have you here. So yeah, I transitioned over to a liver shrinking diet. So that was to ensure protein shakes, one for breakfast and one for lunch, and then a small high protein meal, which could be a piece of tilapia fish and some vegetables to help as dinner. So that went for 2 weeks, and you'll notice that if we go to looking even here, where it was 486 pounds on the 23rd of November, we then go to the next one, because the liver shrinking diet had kicked in at that point. We go to the next one, which was on the 10th of December. I had an appointment with another doctor that I needed to do in the group. So you'll notice that it had already gone down almost 20 pounds just in that time frame, because the weight went down to 456 and 12.8 ounces, so just shy of 10 pounds, or just shy of 30 pounds in just a few weeks there. So then the next one is actually from the surgery itself. That was on the 14th. So you'll see the pre-op weight just before they started the procedure, which was still around the 456 mark, because it was only a few days later, because that was on the 10th that it was 456. Then on the 14th it was 457, and that was at 9:42. I think it was like 10:30 that the surgery itself began, which was in Eastern time. So that was the laparoscopic sleeve gastrectomy. So again, they just take the stomach, and if we look here, you'll just see they just basically staple all this section off and then remove about 80% of your stomach. So that's why I will frequently tell people, yeah, my stomach now is pretty much the size and shape of a banana, because it can't take much food anymore before it pushes back. So already down to 457 again. So basically 486 on the 23rd of November to the 14th of December. I'd already lost almost 30 pounds. So then we go to the next weight block, which was done on the 28th of December, so after the surgery itself. At that point, I was wrapping up the clear liquids, because I had 2 weeks of clear liquids, and then transitioned over to full liquids for another week, and then it went to soft foods and blended foods for another I believe it was another 2 weeks, and then they allowed me to transition in mid-January over to full solids again, because they wanted to keep the stomach safe while it was healing from the surgical procedure. So even from the 14th through the 28th, we'd lost another uh, roughly 15 pounds off of the weight at that point. So far, if you compare the 23rd of November to the 28th of December, you're looking at around 44 pounds lost in basically just over a month. But of course, some of that is going to be the weight of the stomach that was removed. I recognize that as well. Then we go to the next weigh-in when I had another doctor's appointment, which was on the 9th of February of this year. At that point, it had gone down again, so we were now into the 420s. So we're at 427 pounds on the 9th of February. So yeah, we're down almost at 59 pounds in just over 2 months at that point. And they did warn that after your first year, because you've got to keep it up, then your body's going to start to balance itself out and slow down. So then you notice that on the 12th, which was just 3 days later, it had gone down from 427 to 420. So another roughly 7 pounds lost in a few days. But I'm guessing part of that might have also been the clothes that I was wearing on those days, because of the fact that you are obviously clothed when they're weighing you for those. And it would have been heavy clothes because it is the winter time. So the next one after that was on the 26th of March, and this was the first time in I don't know how many years that my weight was under 400. I think that was probably the at least 12 years that I've been over 400 pounds. So, and I definitely was noticing it at that point, because clothes were getting extremely loose on me. And like I said, if going back to this, these were around trousers. This was from 2018 when I was having my 20-year high school reunion. But even now with the size 60 trousers that I did have, in fact, I had to buy new clothes yesterday to prep for an event next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend that I'm going to. And I gone from size 60 to size 48 trousers. So, and then getting back to here, so already we were just shy of 100 pounds lost from November through, yeah, basically we were 8 pounds shy. So we'd lost 92 pounds between November 23rd and March 26th. And then next one that was weighed, that was on the 6th of May. At that point, I was down to 367, so I'd already lost over 100 pounds at that point. Just from the pre-surgery weights that were done. So I was down to 367 on May 6th. And then let's see what else we had. And then the next one was in August. Again, it started to slow down because the body is starting to normalize itself, but also over the summer I had a lot going on and didn't have much time for exercise, so that is my bad. I will admit that. And I'm not going to make excuses for it. I'm just going to say that did happen. But I was still had lost about 5 pounds at that point between those 3 months, and then last month I went ahead and weighed myself because I'm living in a completely different area because I no longer live in Virginia. But I'd gone down from 362 on the 10th of August to the 14th of October. I gone from 362 down to 323. So let me just get the calculator up because my brain isn't going to work on math right now. So that meant that between November of last year and October of this year, I'd lost 163 pounds. And of course, wrapping that up with this weight I took a few minutes ago, I was down to 287. So again, 486 minus 287.5. So 198.5 pounds lost in pretty much 1 year. Well, just shy of 1 year because it was the 23rd again of November, so there's another 12 days for it to be 1 year. Thanks. Yeah, as I was saying, I've been seeing a lot more energy, even if I would do, say, because before the surgery as well, because the mailbox was not at the house, but at another part of the community where I lived, I would frequently drive over there, get out of the car, walk over, get the mail out of the box, get back in the car and drive back. But even just the act of getting out of the car and walking those few feet to get the mail and then walk those few feet back to get into the vehicle was enough to wind me and have me go breathing like that whole time. So, and these days, even this morning, because thankfully the rain overnight made it so the work that was going to be done today got canceled at the apartment complex, and so I ended up not having to worry about that. So I'd actually moved my vehicle over to the back lot. Yeah. Ah, thanks, Oracle. I really do appreciate that. Let's see. You gave them to Ultimate Witcher, Donnie Lucifer, Elfsey, Panda, who of course, like me, never causes chaos, and Enchanted November. I do appreciate that, really. But yeah, it's an ongoing journey, and certainly looking forward to continuing it going forward. But another thing I noticed as well, because even though I've gone down from 60 to 48, I was testing it this morning because I'm wearing a pair of the 60s right now because all the clothes that I bought yesterday, I took them to the cleaners to have them professionally pressed, but I can actually get my phone just sitting like this to perfectly with plenty of space left over between the clothes and my own skin. So uh, definitely seeing a positive change all around for it. And one thing that I probably need to work on more is getting more exercise in. So one of the things I've been doing is going for walks around the neighborhood during the day when it's safe. Um, but yeah, I certainly appreciate the support, and I'm grateful to have you and everyone else in the community as friends. But yeah, I mean, like I said, this wasn't going to be much of a stream today, or at least not for now. I probably will be streaming again later, but I just wanted to say this and also let everybody know. Thank you, because you all have been. Hey there, Mickey. Welcome on in. We actually were just busy talking about the weight loss journey over the past year, ever since the surgery last December, and just talking about how so far having lost over almost 200 pounds in just under a year. Because as I was saying, if you look back here, my weight back on the 23rd, which was just before I started the liver shrinking diet, was 486 pounds. And then you compare that to what my weight is today at 287.5 pounds. So I've lost 198 and a half pounds. Thank you. Yeah, I'm having more energy now, and being able to push myself and finding that, as I was saying to Oracle, not having the worry about being out of breath, because frequently before the weight loss surgery and everything, whenever I would even just pick up the mail, I would be out of shape pretty quickly. Yeah. But it's a journey and continuing on. And as I said, one thing I didn't get much of over the summer and such, because the summer was pretty hectic with job hunting and the like, for getting some time to exercise, but getting back into the swing of it now where I'm currently living in Texas. And as I was saying, thank you everyone for the love and support, not just recently, but throughout the entire journey. And one thing I forgot to do, let me just quickly take care of that, because I was a bit emotional earlier.
We got achievement for toilet.
Not sure why it's censoring out the URLs.
What? That's fucked up. No, I don't want to go inside the suit. What?
Certainly, go and
I
please
did not
feel
want to go
free
down
to
in the toilet.
go ahead and show support as well to Oracle, because she has
I need
been
a
an
shower.
amazing friend and support throughout this whole thing. Let me fix that. Again, not sure why it was censoring that out. I'll have to look into Streamlabs, figure out why it was doing that, but also, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Let's see, there's also, I know she's not here right now, but someone else who has really been a huge support this whole time. Yeah.
The coffee dragon is not always friendly, as it prefers to agitate and stir things up.
Talking about me.
You see this face? You see this face? Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? Stir things up? Cause trouble? Nah. Hello, Batter! How's it going, my friend? How's it going? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. This is.
Yeah, she was going to say this is such a perfect card for you, Toothy. Because, of course, I'm never one to stir things up and cause chaos in people's streams. But she's been very supportive in many aspects throughout this journey, starting especially with the hospitalizations I had several years ago, where unfortunately the hospital I was with originally was treating me as a rotating door, and she was able to help me get information to try and sort out medications for myself, but unfortunately that fell through because the company in question didn't was having technical issues, so I ended up being put on a different medication as a result. But then even just lending an ear when I was struggling a lot in our first hospital. But she's been a big help throughout the years, even with my education classes and so forth, and I'm really appreciative of that. And also, Mickey, I'm appreciative to you as well. You always have been supportive not only to me but also to Zessel and to the rest of that team as well. And I haven't been able to see much of Zessel's streams lately, due to other things that I've had going on. But of course, I never put people in tears. I mean, it's not like I had Zessel in tears with all those gifted subs back in the day. Yes, I still remember that. But uh, yeah, like I said, I'm very appreciative of everybody for all the love and support over the years. And I'm still here. I will continue to be here. I know that sounds torturous for people to know that, but again, just glad to be on this journey and to have everyone thank me for say thank you to everyone for the support over time. Um, but for now, that is the stream. Because, like I said, this one was just going to be a short one. I may be back later this evening to play Phasmophobia and Dead by Daylight. It'll just depend on how things are going. But for now, ah, you redeemed Innocent. 1 second, let me take care of that for you. Just 1 sec. Just want to check something quickly because I'm trying to remember what that was. Oh, yes. So, why am I innocent? Well, for starters, everyone knows that I have never been one to cause chaos in streams. No matter how much people might say that I'm capable of causing mischief, I'm just not always innocent. And on that matter, let me play for you proof of that. Let me see if I can find it again. Bear with me just 1 second. Might be on the D drive. finding it right now. Let me see if I can. But I'll simply. It was actually an audio file, but it's gone missing. I'll have to go find it again because I had stuff moved around. But basically, it says it's perfectly simple. Toothless is the most innocent dragon you've ever met. He's never been a troublemaker in all his life, and always prefers to admire the angelic halo atop his head, which is supported by a devil's horns admittedly, to have it remain glowing a bright golden hue. Now, pay no attention to the fact that his mother and sister, along with his best friends Samantha and Thea, will all flatly deny that Richard is innocent. For we all know better. Just look at my innocent and pure of heart self. Without answering, do I look like a troublemaker? Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. And I'll see, like I said, I'll see if I can track that down later. But again, so that's what I looked like back then. And again, these are size 60s, but I had to really pull them up with a thing. But you can see, because there's like that much gap now, even with the belt holding it. Yeah. And thank goodness I'm not one to ever cause people to cry on their streams. That's also a good thing. But yeah. So again, thanks everyone for joining, and thank you everyone for coming in today. And let's go ahead and see if there's someone we can raid out to for this final bit. Okay, let's go ahead and raid out to Stephanie because she's actually doing some crafting at the moment. So it'll be a nice way to relax for the rest of the stream. But again, thank you everybody for coming in today. And still working on my raid message. It's still a work in progress. But thanks again everybody for joining. And I will, like I said, I'll try and be back later this evening. But if not, I will be back tomorrow evening as well. Oh, before we raid out, there is something else I wanted to announce. I have some homework for everybody, because we are just over a month away from this year's Toothmas. Again, I was going to do this last year, but because of the bariatric surgery process, I had to put it on hold. So what I would like is, I've got on here, and I'll actually post this in some of the Discords as well as on my Twitter, a list of games from my PlayStation 4 Origin, which is basically The Sims and Need for Speed, and my Steam accounts. And of these lists, you'll see, for instance, The Last of Us in the PlayStation 4, and then maybe on Steam you can see 7 Days to Die. What I would like is for people to look into ideas of challenges that they can submit for me to do one challenge a day for 12 days, from basically the 20, or basically through the 24th. So I believe that would be the 11th or 12th of December through the 24th. Yeah, it will be the 13th actually. Yeah, 13th. My brain is really out of it. Or actually, no, it would be the 11th because it's 12. My brain is not good on math this morning. But what it is come up with an idea of a challenge I could do from one of these games. It can be, for instance, let me see, because under Origin we have The Sims. So it could be, for example, in Sims, have one of the characters of that you create die within a certain time period. but you can't. But they have to die of natural causes. So basically, like you have to either exhaust them and have them drown in a pool, or make them starve, etc. for that time, or even PlayStation. Let's see, Grand Theft Auto 5. You could say something like race to the top of Mount Chiliad on a bicycle in under 15 minutes. Or for even Alien Isolation, um, be able to sneak past one of the various things, be it the xenomorph or a group of the working Joes uh, on nightmare mode. And speaking of nightmares, Phasmophobia, you could challenge me to do solo nightmare on any of the maps, including the asylum, which is a pain, even on easy. Because if you're soloing an asylum on easy, you have a whole massive map to cover in it. And because the hunts can trigger right away, can I do it? Could I could I survive a whole game in nightmare mode? Oh, in say somewhere like the asylum or the campsite. But also another option could be, say, farming simulator. I know I've received already the idea of drawing Pikachu in the field of wheat using the combine harvester. Draw my best one and then send it to one of my judges for them to say what they think of it and whether they believe it should be a pass or not. So again, I'm going to post this in various Discords as well as on my Twitter so that people can take a look at it. But we have quite a few different selections here from Steam and as well as the PlayStation 4. So feel free to take a look at those, and like I said, I'll post those shortly. But for now, let's go ahead and raid on out. And again, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye for now. Sorry, I didn't see your message until Sorry, I didn't see your message until right as I was leaving.